Okay, so I will go first as the host. I would like my AI, my own personal AI powered assistant to cook food for me or, get my daughter ready for school. Those are the two things I would love for my assistant to do that. What would you all like?
And Richika, this is the hardest part. And I'm afraid that you have chosen the hardest part to do the AI.
Sir, what would you like the AI
Well,
to?
absolutely the same thing. I would ask my kids to get ready through AI, and let's see how quickly AI can actually manage that, because I cannot manage it very, very quickly. That's for sure.
Okay. Okay, let's look at the answers from everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, welcome everyone. Once again, I would like to welcome all the participants to our webinar. So I would like to delegate to complete all my administrative forms. That's very good. Answering my emails. Fazal says, make time free for me. Wow. Aren't we all going to like that?
Mm.
Receiving clients and setting up an appointment. That's a good one. I will ask it to tell me the future.
I'm afraid that AI cannot do that. That
I
is only the crystal ball you can do that.
Yes, all the house chores. Yes, I agree. Usman says, take care of my chores. Kid to do homework. Wow. High five on that one. Drive my car. Well, we do have AI driven cars nowadays. So, yes,
Yeah.
David, fingers crossed. Good afternoon from Indonesia. AI to take care of my office activities. To keep my room tidy. That's great.
That's the hardest part you can do.
Yes.
I think AI will refuse that straight away.
AI will say, please clean your own room.
Yeah.
I would like it to solve my mathematics. Okay.
All right. I think AI is almost doing that. I mean, especially that somebody said that I will ask my AI to do the homework for my kid. I think pretty sure that they are doing it already.
Or I think a time will come, kids will have their
Yeah.
own assistants and they will anyways finish the homework via AI and then come and
Yeah.
tell us we've completed it. Domestic activities. Okay, that's interesting. How to make money from online fast and easy. Okay, let me know also, please.
Yeah. And me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would like to say thank you to everyone for participating in this first icebreaker. Very interesting questions coming in. I would get it done for researchers. That's great. Now we'll move on to the next icebreaker number 2. So I would like all of you to please participate. I'm going to read this one. It says, if ethical decision making were an Olympic sport, what would be the one essential skill you would need to win the gold?
Very interesting question.
Yes, sir. What would you say on that one?
Oh, I'm gonna take a rain check on this one, because this is I think it's very personalized, because when you take an ethical decision, that would be interesting. Let's see what other people say, then I'm gonna jump into that.
Yes, so I think integrity, active communication, be very focused and dedicated, logical thinking, design thinking, integrity. Yes, yes. I also kind of agree. Integrity, honesty.
Yeah. Well, I
Good
think that's a
morning,
that's a very
George.
common one.
Yes. Empathy, willpower, fitness. Thank you so much all for participating. That's great to see such amazing participation from all the participants. Thank you. Resilient sportsmanship. Um, okay, it's going so fast that I can't even
Read the
skill
same
to
here.
sustain. Yes.
Right.
Train hard. Hi. Suleiman says hi. Determination, well trained, integrity, speed, problem solving.
Mm.
Okay. That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. It's quite an interesting, you know, quite interesting answers coming in from everyone. Determination, confidence. Um, Thank you. I would like to welcome all of you to this exciting webinar, which is Businesses in the 21st Century, hosted by Uni Athena. I would also like to mention that there will be polls that we will conduct in between the webinar. So I would like you all to actively participate in the same so that we all together can make this webinar an amazingly successful one. Now, as you all know, my name is Ruchika. I will be the host for the webinar, and I would like to say thank you to all of you for taking out time to attend this webinar. And I would also like to invite our esteemed guest, Mr. Mansoor Khan, who is an experienced senior corporate trainer. He is visiting faculty at various universities. Sir has an expertise in prominent, delivering lectures at prominent academic institutions in UK and UAE. He has, he's got amazing skills in instructing students from diverse social and cultural contexts to demonstrating exceptional abilities in management, communication, and leadership. Okay. Also, he's demonstrated versatility in working both independently and collaboratively with a proven track record of thriving in demanding scenarios. So with that, I would like to welcome Mansoor sir. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. It's always a pleasure. And this is my second one. So thank you very much for hosting me for the second webinar.
Pleasure.
This is going to be an exciting one. So, I mean, let's see that how we're gonna conduct this one. And I will try to make it as interactive as possible. And I think you have done the job already by putting quite a lot of polls in there. So we're gonna have a very interactive one. I will try to finish it as soon as possible so we can have quite a lot of Q&A. And I think that is going to be a hard task because, incredibly, we've got quite a lot of people who are joining us. So let's see there how we can actually go through that. Let me
Sure.
know when to start.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay, right. Well, this picture itself plays a very important role because, I mean, we are talking about businesses in 21st century. And you can see this kind of like ahead and how things are cramped into it. And we're going to be taking this as a focal point that how things have changed in 21st century. I know we are talking about the changes which are happening all, I mean, incredible speed. That we are talking about technological changes, we are talking about disruptions, we are talking about ethics itself, we are talking about all the things that we are being part of this globalization. It is changing continuously. And this is what we are looking at, that how 21st century has actually changed us, how it's changing the businesses, how it's changing the transformation of technology, how it is changing the, the logistic, I mean, the trust, which is very important part as well. So this picture, as I said, plays a very kind of important role in how we see business in us and how we actually see the spread of that business around the globe. And not only that, at what rate and what kind of functions are being used for this change. So let's just see. And when I was researching on this, something really interesting happened. And that interesting part was that I came across this, Heraclitus, that he was an ancient Greek philosopher about 2,500 years ago. And he said something amazing, and that was that change is the only constant in our life. I mean, we can do another webinar only on that sentence, but just to kind of like break it down, that change is happening all the time. This is one thing that we know, that this is never going to stop. Whether since the day we are conceived, since the day we the die, whatever is happening, changes are happening. Now, the thing is that, are we going to take that change as the something which is going to propel us, or we going to sit there and just take it? Doesn't really matter, because that change is going to be happening. The thing is that how we absorb into that change, that is the most important thing. So his wisdom basically is still relevant, after 2,500 years ago, when he actually came up with the sentence that the changes are happening, and these changes are happening through the technological innovation, globalization, evolving consumer demand. We are talking about redefining the landscape business operates in, necessitate adaptability and agility. That's what we are looking at, because if we don't be part of it, then we're going to lose out. And this is where we need to consider business, that how important the business are. And most successful business, whether it's Amazon, whether it's like, Apple, whether it's Samsung, all of these companies, they basically adapt to that, concept. And because of that concept, they are so successful. And this is what we need to see, that these things, these entities, they need to be change, accept the change, and adapt with it within that, the how would we say that, the agility that require. If we don't, then we're not going to be surviving as well. So this is what we need to do, that we need to continuously finding out that what those changes are and how we can adapt to that. Long-term success demands embracing sustainability and social responsibility. This is another thing that we are looking at, that how the business will become part of a society, how the sustainability is important. So we need to consider that as well, because the business is not a business only for like, few days, months, perhaps years. What we want business to be a long-term concept, and that long-term concept means sustainability, and that sustainability comes with that. So you need to kind of like keep up to date. I was reading somewhere that IKEA has actually bought a very big forest, and they're in America, and they're replanting, those trees which they cut down, so they can have a sustainable, flow of timber coming to their furniture, which is really important thing to do, to look at it. That because even IKEA is thinking that, that you need to have that sustainability concept as well. Then, of course, the corporate leader have to prioritize the ethical practices, embrace changes, and utilize technology as well. You realize that during the the start of the 21st century, we are talking about that a lot of the dot-com companies fail is because their leadership did not see the technology, or the policies implemented for the technology was just not right. So, that's why a lot of the companies have failed as well. So you need to think about all of those policies and practices, which would be really good for that as well. Rapid technology development, transform business operation through the internet, mobile services, and AI. All of those changes are there. Now, if you're a company and if you do not embrace with those changes, well, you're going to lose out to your competitors. And once you're going to lose out to your competitors, of course, your relevance is going to go down. And when your relevance will go down, it means that, you're going to kind of like be thrown out, ostracized, which we don't want. And again, we have seen some of the examples, think Nokia or BlackBerry. How many of us, we had BlackBerry? Then all of a sudden, guess what? BlackBerry is not relevant because iPhone, we are talking about, Samsung, we are talking about SAT, all these big companies, they got into, the smartphone, and BlackBerry and Nokia kind of left behind. And when they get in, nobody is going to allow you to compete with me, because why should I allow you to compete with me when you had a chance and you didn't take it? So now I'm ahead. I'm not going to give you that chance. That's why you need to embrace all of these technological changes, which is happening very, very quickly. Whether it's AI, whether it's like, technology, whether it's to do with anything, any kind of policy you have to change, you need to consider it very, very quickly. Then we are talking about technological impact, communication. We are talking about marketing, customer service operation. All of these are being part of those changes. Now you may be thinking that technological thing is the only thing that we need to consider, but I'm afraid not. The people's behavior are changing as well. What our parents used to think and what we think are completely different things. What our kids going to be thinking, or they are thinking, those people who have kids, it's a completely different concept. I mean, I give an example that I gave my father a smartphone, and he still holds it like this, and he put his finger on it and he does this to move the icon. Where my kids are at the age of 2.5, my son used to negotiate his way through different videos and everything else to get to Peppa Pig and watch Peppa Pig without any problem. So those kind of things are happening, and you need to absorb that. So emergence of e-commerce revolutionized the retail industry. We have seen growth of Amazon. What Amazon was in like earlier, part of say 2010 onwards, and what had happened to Amazon now. I mean, it is created into a beast now. We could call it like, making hundreds of billions of dollars without any problem. Businesses can reach out to global customers. We are talking about not only what's going to be happening in our own region, but you can have a small shop and you could be selling something very unique to some guy in Timbuktu sitting there and ordering something without any problem. So that globalization itself is a very big thing to have. A strong online presence is crucial for business to remain competitive. I remember when I was working for MTV, we used to have that, one little link says www.mtv.com. Now you look at it, there are so many different mediums. You're talking about Instagram, you're talking about Facebook, we are talking about Snapchat, you're talking about WhatsApp. I mean, you name it, they have it. They have to create jobs to control all of those kind of things. So these kind of things are very important to have that as well. So 21st century has been surged into startup companies, entrepreneur endeavors. I mean, we're talking about the companies that are coming out in every which way you can think of, from the smallest to the uniquest to the biggest, and they are there. And that innovation is meaning that you and I, who could be novice, they can start a company without any problem. So innovation and disruptive business model emerge in a diverse industry. I have a bit of a reservation on when it comes to disruptive. I mean, the thing is, like, if you are not being part of that, it becomes a disruptive concept. But if you are being part of that, whether it's AI, whether it's to do with new technology, any kind of innovation, that's not disruptive. But these things are there, and not everybody can afford it, not everybody can do it. But if you have the right kind of mindset, you can do that. So let's just see, one of the most trending thing that we are actually going through right now is, again, this artificial intelligence. And Ruchika actually said quite brilliantly that what would you do if you have the power to have that AI? Well, I mean, this power is something that we all have, that, somebody was, I think she was reading somewhere that how to win the lottery if I have AI. Well, I tried it, to be honest with you, and it turned out that ChatGPT gave me an answer that I cannot give you the answer because I do not have the crystal ball. And it is quite true. I'm afraid that we don't have that crystal ball, but we can use AI for a number of concepts. Let's just have a look at what we're talking about 21st century, that how is it going to be actually helping us. A revolutionary 21st century business operation and decision making. This is it. Before that, we used to think that, we used to go through a lot of research. We used to hire companies, we used to hire people who would do a lot of primary research, secondary research. Now, click of a finger, and then all of a sudden, you're going to have an answer for you, because AI would actually go through quite a lot of, like, systems, operation, researches, all of that is on our fingertip. Basically, will tell you what is accepted, of what is expected from, this and that, and you can make the right kind of decision. So AI technologies enable business to analyze data, gain insight, and predict market trend. Now, here the question is that does that mean that I'm going to lose my job? Absolutely not. It will make you very powerful, that you can make that decision by understanding, by analyzing huge amount of data without any problem. So AI improve efficiency. We are talking about the streamlining processes and drive innovation. And this happens very, very quickly. This happens within the span of, like, well, depending on what you are doing, but within the span of, like, I would say minutes. So AI would have that kind of power, and then you hold that power. So when we're talking about AI, AI boost competitiveness, adaptability, and exceptional customer experience. Now, just think about it, that if you are a company who is using AI, and put yourself in the shoes the company who do not use AI. Now, just think that what kind of difference that you have in terms of the capability of actually using AI and not using AI. I mean, in terms of just reading the material, AI can actually do quite a lot of stuff just like that for you, where those people are basically sitting down to hire, the number of researchers, number of, like, different systems and process to actually analyze data. Yeah, it's done it for you. So of course, companies who are using it, they are going to be way ahead of those companies who are not using AIs. But then it means that there's something here, and that something is that whenever you're using AI, ethical consideration needs to be, put in there. Obviously, there are a lot of things which is happening, and AI is a very new thing. I mean, I would say that AI, well, last 3 years, things have changed. Not even last 3 years, I think last 5 to 6 months. The start of this 2023, we have got ChatGPT came up, and it has changed everything. Now everything is like AI based. So a lot of ethical concept needs to be looked into it, that why and how and what we can do, or what we can allow AI to do for us. AI deployments are crucial for sustainable AI use, but we need to have some sort of guideline for that. So we need to actually go through it. Richika, you're going to interrupt me, right, when there's going to be a poll to be put in. So please let me know, okay?
Sure, yes.
Right, excuse me. Right.
Yeah, just give me, which slide are we on? Decision making.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have time.
Right.
On the 15th.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, so again, decision making driven by data. This is another thing that, I mean, if you just go back one bit and you think that, why is it such an important thing? Well, big data, or like a lot of data, is actually there to solve a lot of problem for us. And now, if we are going to be, completely drowned by data, and we cannot actually solve that or analyze it quick enough, it's almost having, no data at all. So machine learning is one of those things that you are basically giving you concept and idea that how we can derive a lot of data into a process, and it basically analyzes a lot of things for you. And that's why the decision, when you're going to be making that decision, is going to be based on that, the facts from the data, which is you can easily get out, which is very important. So data availability enhance informed business decisions. So when you're going to be making a decision, it's going to be a very informed one. that it will give you understanding that what is the right kind of decision you're going to be making for your business, because what exactly they want, and they being the customer. So data analyze, optimize strategies, improve performance, and enhance customer insight. This is what we want. Whenever we are making policies or strategizing something, or towards a goal, we need to have the right kind of data to actually guide us, and that guidance is crucial for us. If we can guide it properly, we can actually work it out that what is required. Data-driven decision is crucial for any modern successful business, because I mean the thing is, like, if Apple wants to put a kind of new strategy that they're going to be selling, this is what they did, that they were going to be selling their products in China. Now, who wants to buy it? How much money do they have? Whether they can afford it, whether they can actually utilize it properly. All of these things is part of the data. And then once you analyze the data, you can actually come up with a very good concept that these are the things that we are looking for. And when they have got these kind of things, that it will give you a very good insight that what kind of decision is going to be there. And you are going to be making that decision, keeping that kind of data result in front of you. And then that would be a crucial thing for you. So business must use data analytics for informed strategic decision, that what is the right thing to do in what kind of environment. And for that, you need to have data which is going to give you a very good understanding of that. So organization utilize vast information for insight. We are talking about trend prediction. We are talking about risk identification. All of this is going to be coming through the data. And that is why it is very, very important to understand that what is happening around us, and not only understand what is happening around us, that how we can utilize it to our own benefit. Data-driven decision-making is optimize operation, customer experience, drive info innovation. Now, this is a very important sentence that when you try to analyze this, because what's happened is that we get a lot of information, whether it's a primary or the secondary research, through talking to people, researching on different research program or research paper, and then you realize that the customer does not want this. Now, obviously, if you're going to be put something in front of the customer that they don't want, of course you're going to be a failure. So what you need to do is that you need to know that what is the best thing for the customers, and how we can actually avail that kind of insight for the customer. And this is the reason that you need to have these information, and the customer can actually say, okay, this is the company, this is the product we want, because they understand us. And that understanding is very, very important. Data is crucial for business to thrive in the data-rich era. And this is data-rich era, because everything we do, we stand here, we sit here, we look all the things in front of us, and that is data being transmitted. And those transmission that businesses can actually see this, they can understand it, and then they're going to give us the feedback in the form of new strategies, in the form of right kind of decision, in the form of right kind of product. And when they have this, it means that we are doing the right kind of thing. So this is why it is very, very important to have that. Over to you, Richard.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for the lovely insight till now. Now we have our first poll coming up on your screens right away. I'm sure you all can see the screen, which I can do along with you. So the question is, why are ethical and transparent business practices crucial for long-term success? It's a single choice question, single choice answer. So the first option is they enable businesses to hide unethical practices from stakeholders. They attract investors who prioritize short-term gains. They build a positive reputation and foster strong stakeholder relationships. And they lead to increased government regulations and interference. So the first poll question is, why are ethical and transparent business practices crucial for long-term success? Please answer, everyone. Thank you so much for the amazing participation. And this is a this is a recorded video, so you all will be able to see this recording after this session, after the webinar. Please visit LinkedIn, please visit our website. You will have access to this video. A lot of questions, sir, that I have received till now are asking about the PPT or the slides being shared. So they all can watch the recording.
Right. Being in business, I think that we should make a lot of money out of this. Why? What do you say, Ruchika?
Yes,
Right.
yes,
Right.
yes. All right, so thank you everyone for the participation. Now we'll have the poll results up. Okay.
No.
So 9% people have voted that they enable businesses to hide unethical practices. 8% have said they attract investors who prioritize short-term gains. 5% say they lead to increased government regulations. And 78% people have said that they build a positive reputation and foster strong stakeholder relationships. So
Wow.
there you go, ethical and
That is a
transparent.
unanimous, I mean, almost a unanimous decision
Yes, it
there.
is.
Right.
Yes. So
Okay.
everyone
So
agrees. Yeah.
agreement totally agrees on that one, right? And those people who are not, I mean, I'm just kind of like wondering that how we can sway them to actually agree on this one. Right. Okay. So if we can move on to the second, third one, and let me just go on to this. Right. So globalization and international expansion. Now, as I said, we were very happy after the Second World War, when we used to have a small shop, and that shop used to cater for, like, 3 streets down that way and 3 streets down that way, and that was the end of it. Now what we have seen during the 60s, 70s, things have changed. We were actually catering for, a kind of a radius, or should we say diameter of, like, 360 degrees. We are looking at about 6 miles that way, 6 miles that way, and 6 miles that way. That's it. During the 80s and 90s, the globalization actually hit us. And now we are considering that, no, we need to go ahead. And we're going to have, if we go back a little, say 70s and 80s, we thought that we're going to be doing quite a lot of, regional selling. So it means within the country, but within our own province or, city, or we can go a little bit further. But that's about it. But 2000, it got us 21st century. 21st century got us globalization, the total expansion. What we want to do is that, because of technology has changed everything, and that means that globalization derives growth, success in 21st century business environment. Now we are talking about that, we can expand, and we can expand by me having a small shop, a very unique shop. I would be selling something, some sort of like product, and I can make sure that my product is sold globally, which means that I need to have a nice website, which means that people can actually look at my product. And there are many ways of doing that. The 3D version, you can actually do some really kind of like interactive website and all of that, very much improved. And then you can sell your product. And what I can do is that I wait somewhere in a very kind of a small place without worrying about it, that how I'm going to sell my stuff, because everything's online. And people, my customers, are 24/7. And my customers are all around the world because of technology, because of communication, because of transportation. That has changed dramatically. which means that the whole notion that you need to have a hypermarket, you need to have a very big business to actually start doing selling and start selling stuff abroad, it goes out of the window. Because now I can have a small website, I can have a small warehouse, I can have all of that very unique stuff, very niche market, but I can sell it all around the world 24/7 without even having a kind of a front shop. That is amazing. That has changed everything, and that is because of one thing, and that one thing is being technology. That one thing is being that I'm using my ideas to expand it all around the world. So international expansion has benefited companies by reaching a diverse customer base. We are talking about attracting talent. We are talking about leveraging favorable economic conditions anywhere and everywhere. I can say that, oh, you know what, the economic condition is pretty bad. Well, let's say UK, for instance, in UK, and I cannot do my business. But again, that the whole concept of that is broken down and thrown out of the window, because I can say that economic condition in Japan is very good. I can sell it over there. I don't need to have a shop over there. I don't need to invest a huge amount of money in there, but I can have that reach, and that reach is through technology, that reach is through logistic, that through it's like I customer base is there. I can do that. My kids are really into this, like animes and manga and all of that, and they get their the kind of like figurines. They're coming from Japan. So all they had to do is that they go onto the website, they said that I want this figure, and then they basically made me put the money in there through my credit card, and once the transaction is done, after and you know what, in olden days, when I say olden days, I'm talking about last 10-15 years. In olden days, it used to take many days before you get your product. Now, snap of a finger, Amazon will deliver it, Noon will deliver it, Alibaba.com will deliver it on time when you want it. And these are the benefits you get out of this globalization. I mean, don't think that it's something, very big. It's not. It is something very approachable. It is something that we can all do it. And a lot of these businesses are doing that. I was traveling in Pakistan about 5 years ago. And there I came across this guy who was selling pure honey. So I was with one of my friend, and he does quite a lot of kind of e-commerce thing. So he said that, why don't you sell it abroad? And he started laughing because the guy had very little education. But his son, who was sitting there, he said that I'm interested. And then we created that kind of website for him, and then we put that e-commerce part in there. And then where he was selling it for, like, it was about a half a kg of pure honey, and he was selling it very cheaply. I mean, if I tell you in dollars, that would be around $1 for half a kg, or perhaps $2. And then after a while, when we checked on him, his son actually told me that he sold 250 grams of pure honey to somebody in Malaysia, and the guy paid $50 for that. So just imagine that tiny little business just expanded globally, and he made a lot of money. So how that transformation has brought change in his life and his kids' life, right? So don't think that we are talking about having that kind of globalization is bad. No. It's actually allow people to expand and can do business elsewhere without any kind of restriction. So you can have this. Global challenges includes, we are talking about cultural nuisances, we are talking about regulatory complexity, and then we are talking about market volatility as well. So every good thing has its bad points as well, no doubt about that. I'm not saying that it isn't. But the thing is that if you can overcome these, then it becomes a very good tool to have. Organization must adapt to, adaptive strategies. We are talking about promote cross-cultural competence and prioritizing innovation and sustainable partnership. This is very, very important to have, because at the end of the day, this globalization, you need to come up with, like, I tell my students that world is becoming a smaller place. If you need to know that, the culture in South Sahara region somewhere, Google it, and it will give you that information. So all of this is coming from that. So you can actually get quite a lot. So it's like you need to use this globalization as a attractive tool for you people to use it, so it can become something very good for people. So it can be very useful for people. And this example just I've given you about this guy who's selling honey, I mean, that really basically improves all of that and proves it that it is possible. We're going to have another poll, Richika.
Yes, I was waiting for the next poll because we've been bombarded with a lot of people asking me the answer of poll one, and where they can participate in the missed poll. So please, everyone, pay attention, because the next poll number 2, is coming right up on your screens. All right. So what does CSR stand for? So the first option is CSR. Yes. Corporate sustainability responsibility, corporate social responsibility, customer satisfaction and retention, and competitive sales revenue. So let's see, what do you all think about it? Please participate in the poll.
I think that would lead us to the next one. So very nicely put it.
Yeah, thank you. Poll 2 is right there. Puria says, I can't see it on my screen. Okay, please. Okay, some people are answering in the chat box. It's launched, Grace. It's there on the screen. Puram says, please show poll result. We will share the poll result on the screen in a few seconds. So this poll question is going to be there for a minute. I mean, for next 10, 15 seconds, I guess. Very interesting session. Like I had mentioned earlier, for all those who've been asking for the slides for the presentation, please do visit our website, YouTube and LinkedIn, Uni Athena. You will see the recording of this webinar there. So you will be able to access all the slides. You can't see the question. Question is, what does CSR stand for? Okay, thank you. Lucas says, if you can't see it, click on the more on the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, thank you, Lucas. It's amazing to see people from, all across the globe. Just now you were talking about globalization.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the
This is the best
important
example.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it couldn't get better than that.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that we need to ask them who is the most, the furthest part we can think of. Who is from there? Which area? Let's see if we can actually get that.
Sure, sure. So we'll have the question and answer round in the end, and then we can ask. But I know I can see Zambia, South Africa, Algeria, Kenya, yeah, Zimbabwe,
yes.
yeah, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, Ghana, Nigeria, Iraq, okay, Algeria. It's going faster than even I can read. US, Indonesia, Bahamas, Lebanon.
Right. In that case, Ruchika,
Japan,
we are quite
Botswana.
popular as well in that case.
Yes,
We are all around the world then.
Yes, St. Lucia, Bangladesh, Philippines, Somalia,
Malawi as
Malawi,
well. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Uganda, Pakistan. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Someone just complimented, saying we are doing a great work. Congo, Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. Nigeria, Botswana. Sure, David, we'll let you know. Okay, now we'll have the answers coming right up on your screen. All right. Okay, this is also very interesting.
Yeah.
Would you like to do the honors this time?
Well, well, corporate social responsibility is the right answer, but 16% of the people said corporate sustainability responsibility. That is because you're
Interesting.
probably thinking of the environmental issues, right? Okay. Then 19% of the people says that customer satisfaction and retention. We need to work on that, but it's corporate social responsibility. That's what we are looking for. And 6% of the people said competitive sales revenue. I think these are the people who are basically really into the customer service and selling stuff. But guys, the right answer is corporate social responsibility. Like, and this was a perfect poll, perfect question, and perfectly chosen by Richika. So I'm gonna lead that on to the next one, and this is what we are talking about. That we are talking about environmental responsibility and corporate social responsibility. Now, whenever we think about expansion, whenever we think about globalization, whenever we think about these kind of things, that we always think about technology. But it's not just technology that we are looking at. We are also looking at the environmental responsibilities, especially now. The climatization, we got COP28, which is happening in UAE. Big congratulations to UAE, and I am so looking forward to it. It's unbelievable. I basically asked one of my school to represent for the COP28 as well. But we were slightly behind, so we couldn't get to that. But that was a very good initiative, and we are still working on it. Uh, a lot of things are happening, and a lot of things are happening, which is making us realize that we do not understand the environmental responsibility, and we do not understand the corporate social responsibility. We're going to be in big trouble, and the company is going to be in big trouble. And us as consumers are judging these companies by looking at that, how responsible they are, both environmentally and through corporate social responsibilities as well. So we need to understand, and we judge them. And I'm not going to take any kind of like I'm not going to be kind of like understandable about it. I won't want to judge them, because the thing, like, if they are doing something wrong, they should be pointed out, and they should be put properly, that you should not be doing that, and then they should be checked on, because it's a big responsibility, and these global companies bear that responsibility, and they basically the next generation who's going to be coming after us, and then after them, we should give them a kind of a safer, environmentally friendly the world that we have basically created. I hope that we are creating. So I'm a very big fan of like looking at the environmental responsibility that each company has to go through. 21st century business, environmental responsibility, and CSR for sustainable growth. I mean, the thing is, like, as I gave an example earlier on, IKEA is primarily a company which creates furniture, every household's goods. And for that, if they need to cut down 2 trees, they need to plant 10 trees. I would say they need to plant 100 trees. And what they have done is that they have, again, an example, that they have bought a very big piece of land in America, and they are basically generating forest over there. So the timber which needed for their furniture is coming from that sustainable growth of timber, which needs to come to them, because if they're going to be needing that timber coming next 10, 15 years, they need to plant them. They just cannot really walk into a forest and say, well, I need to have this for the furniture, and destroys the tree. No, you need to have a sustainable growth. So eco-friendly practices help business tackle environmental challenges. They kind of reduce carbon footprints and conserve resources, because these resources are going to be needed in for the next generation, for the next the our kids, grandkids, they're going to be coming into. So you need to have this core business strategy, incorporate corporate social responsibilities initiative for ethical values. Now, these companies, they get giant size. I mean, we are talking about huge companies. We are talking about Apple. Apple is touched that $1 trillion company. Now, once you have reached that, what kind of social responsibilities you are kind of promoting, what kind of things that you're doing. Say, for instance, quite recently we had Coca-Cola in labor camps. Then they put these kind of like big machines that you put in a cap of a Coke bottle, and then you get 3 minutes of Skype time to your loved one wherever you are, wherever your loved ones are. So you can have that. Now, that is something that you need to think about it. They're giving back something to the society. And I'm not just kind of praising Coca-Cola for that, because they can do so many other things. I'm just saying that the initiative is there. We need to think like that how you can give back to society when you are making so much money from the society. So prioritizing environmental and social factors improve brand reputation, attract conscious consumer. Now, nothing is for free. Whatever we do it for a motive. Whether it's a good or a bad thing to have, that depends on the company. But obviously, you do that to enhance your reputation, to improve your reputation. For that, if you are basically doing something to help the society, running few projects in poorer countries, or whether it's to do with water, whether it's to do with something else, environmental issues, these kind of things really help companies gain good reputation, because I would like to buy things which is environmental friendly, sustainable stuff. I'm not going to be giving my hard-earned money to a companies who do not actually work to enhance these kind of things. So we are talking about sustainable business practices, enhance environmental, social, and long-term profitability. So if you are basically running any of these projects, that really helps you in a right way in the eyes of the customers, and vice versa as well. So the consumer will say that, yes, I would go for this company because this company looks after, all the things which is like happening around it, whether it's being corporate social responsibility or environmental issues that you need to actually look into. So aligning strategies with environmental social goals promote innovation, trust, and a strategic advantage. That will give you that strategic advantage to the company, that, what, we are better than our competitors because this is what we are doing. And as I said, world is becoming a very small place. So if my company is doing something bad, that is going to be heard all around the world. But if my company is doing something better, it will be heard all around the country, the globe as well. So that's a good thing. So companies need to think about that, what they can do to actually improve these kind of things, to actually help towards the social responsibilities or the environmental issues. These are the very important things to have. Right, let's have a look at the one thing which that basically changed us altogether. And that is COVID. Prior to COVID, a lot of HR companies, the HR concept, HR policies, strategies were thinking that what can we do to have remote kind of like, working environment or all of that. COVID came in and just slapped us around. And then I remember that when my university, we had a new campus uh, opened about 2 years before COVID, and very spanking new, labs and theater rooms and beautiful building. And then COVID came and everything went kind of very dry. We were told to give the lectures um, from the remote position, which is our own house, basically online. And that made us realize that, you spend so much money on this campus and we cannot utilize it and it went on for something like almost a year and a half, basically, after, well, during that COVID time. That made us realize that a lot of things are changing. This is like one of those forced kind of experiment, which we all gained a lot of information from, but we refused to do it prior to COVID. Now, COVID came and that has basically changed everything. We are talking about flexible working hours. We are talking about flexible, work arrangement. We are talking about remote work arrangement, all of those kind of things now we are looking at. And then COVID was the, what we call it, that, the integral part, which basically pushed us to do this. So COVID accelerated remote work adaptation and then enabled remote teams and virtual collaboration tools. I was reading somewhere that Zoom, which not many people knew about, right? It became the primary source of communication between masses and well, especially in education, and it became quite a lot of. So WebEx, Zoom, Team, they made a lot of money during that time. And even now, if I need to kind of work and say that, you know what, I cannot come to work because my kid is not well or my wife is not well, they said, okay, you can work on Zoom, or you can have a meeting on Zoom. I had many interviews I conducted on Zoom. These kind of things have changed. So it's improved work-life balance, reduced cost and talent pool access as well. I'm not too sure about work-life, work-life balance, because I think that from my point of view, and this is my personal opinion, we can have a Q&A on that. But I believe that when you're actually working in an office environment with people around you, that is far better than having a kind of like, a discussion. But I'm a people's person. This is what I like. I like to work with people, and that is a very big thing to have. But that basically allows you to do a lot of things when you are basically sitting in your, in your comfort of your own home. Digital experience is crucial for business as well. We are talking about strong consumer relations are essential for long-term success. That's what we are looking at. All of this because of one thing, and that is because of COVID. So we are looking at the 20th century, rapid change demand, adaptability in any kind of industry. And that basically made us do this rapid changes, adaptability, and being part of that, something which was, I think that was a very sharp kind of like, a lesson to us that we need to be ready for it. And we got ready. I mean, those people who were not being part of that, the business failed. A lot of the business failed because they couldn't adapt to that environment. And that is why it is important for any business to be very agile and very adaptive when it comes to these kind of things, because these things are very dynamic. They're changing all the time. And if you're not being part of that change, then you're going to lose out. So business thrives in dynamic, competitive environment by anticipating market shift and embracing innovation. Now, if you cannot do this, that's going to be a big problem for you. You need to be understanding what is happening around us and how we can actually adapt to that. And those people who did that, their business thrives. I mean, look at Amazon. Amazon made millions because of that. Not only Amazon, I'm talking about, fast food industry. McDonald's started to kind of like deploy their people, their runners, for people who wanted to buy the food from sitting at home. instead of coming to the restaurant. So all of these things happen. So you have got two things: adaptability, embracing technology, and being very, very agile with that. And when you combine this together, you will survive. You will do a very good job when you are basically being part of that flexible, work environment, and you are being working from a remote areas, and that really allows you to be more flexible. Okay. Now, what we're going to be looking at, that ethics and ethical transparency business practices. Now, very, very important thing to have. And before I start onto this, I'm going to bring one word, which is a very clear word to use, and that is trust. Globalization, yes, things are changing. A lot of things are happening. Money is moving from left to right. A lot of money is moving from left to right. Products are moving left to right. And because of that, trust plays a very big part of that. Why? Because as a customer, you need to trust that, where your money is going to this company, you will get what is worth. You will get that. And if that's what the trust you have gained, you would be able to actually improve that as a business. If you do not have that trust, then I'm afraid you would lose out on this. So you need to keep an eye on this word called trust. Very important thing to have. So when we are talking about ethical, transparent business practices, crucial for sustainable success and societal trust, very, very important thing to have. Because if I'm buying something and that it's coming from, regardless whether it's coming from China, India, Mexico, wherever, I need to get what I paid for. And if I don't get that, I'm going to be in trouble. I'm going to share a kind of experience that I had when I'm not very comfortable, because of perhaps my age, with e-commerce. I remember buying something, a very nice English Oxford shoes. It was on the website, and I thought, I'm going to buy it. This is, I'm talking about, 2001, 2002. And I basically applied for it, and I got it took 28 days for that product to come to me, right? And I opened it, and I was expecting very nice size 6 beige color Oxford shoes. What I got was 6-inch heel, a silhouette, right? We are talking about very nice maroon, burgundy color, velvet. And I was just thinking that, are you sure this is the right product? Then I called tech them. They said, send it back to us, and then we will replace it. So I sent another 28 days for it to go back to the company. And then they sent it back to me. This was beautiful, same 6-inch, but this was in royal blue. And I was just thinking that, are they trying to tell me something that I should be wearing a 6-inch heel? And not really. So I said, no, this is the wrong one. Every time I send it back to them, it will cost me money, right? So that means that 28 days for sending the order, 28 days for getting it wrong, 28 days for getting it back. So we are talking about 4 or 5 months of shifting from one to. And then I got my shoes. This was the right shoes, but one size was size 6, the other one was size 8. And I decided that it's not a good thing, because it cost me far more than the actual price of the shoes because of it. Now, that was done in 2001, 2002, when the whole e-commerce was at its infancy. Now it has matured. It has turned into something else. Noon.com is actually saying that we will send you something within an hour delivery, right? Amazon is saying that if you have a problem with that, we will send you something on the same day. We'll get your money back, right? Just like that. Things have changed. And all of this comes from one thing, that we started to trust the organization. Why? Because we understand that their business depends on that trust. All right. So ethical principle, we are talking about promote fairness. We are talking about honesty. We are talking about integrity, and we are talking about positive corporate culture. That's what we are looking at. That means that the whole concept of that ethics and transparency has kind of like ingrained in businesses, especially e-commerce, because the money is shifting from left to right, because the product is shifting left to right, because we are working in that environment. That has changed. And if you are not being part of that, you're going to lose out on this. So transparent practices, we are talking about enhance stakeholders relationship and build confidence. Now remember that it's technology. If I do something wrong, it's going to be like wildfire. Everybody knows that, okay, it's going to be on Instagram, it's going to be on Facebook, it's going to be on WhatsApp, you name it, it's going to be there. If I do something right, it's going to be like that. So I need to be, very cautious as a decision maker that what I'm doing, as a CEO, what I'm doing, as a worker for that particular company, that what I'm doing. And it is literally forcing us to be ethical, literally forcing us to, work in a kind of an environmental concept, whether it's to do with corporate social responsibility, whether it's to do with environmental impacts, whether it's to do with legal compliances, that we are doing the right kind of thing. Because if we don't do this, it's going to hit us very, very hard. Right? We are also looking at the ethical companies gain competitive advantage, attract top talent, and build responsible, global reputation. This is it. Google is one of the best companies that people want to work for. And the reason for that is because of its reputation. It's not only that what you are doing for your customer, it's what you are doing for your workers. Remember, the customers are going to get something in return only if you as a customer, you as a worker are happy. If you are not happy, it's going to be reflecting on the customer, right? So you need to be very, Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin Atlantic or Virgin Group, he said that treat people so nice, treat them or prepare them so well that they want to leave, but treat them so nice that they do not want to leave, right? This is the reason. That's why it is very important that you need to start working in-house, improve your things within the walls around your organization, create that culture that people are happy, and that will project your reputation globally. Their contribution paved the way for a brighter and more equitable future. That's what we are looking at. That's how the whole concept of, we are talking about being ethical and transparent is important. It's not only to show that, yes, 5 dirhams or $5 came into my account and this is it. It's not just the money trail that we are following. It's how we are as an organization, the corporate culture, that the organizational behavior that we create within the organization that people want to. It was very interesting that DHL is one of my favorite company, and I was listening to the interview by its CEO, and he said that we recognize our workers, our people. So if somebody is having a birthday, we will all celebrate. If somebody is getting married, we will all get married. No, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. We will all be part of that celebration. And when you recognize people, this is what happened, that people start to respect the company, and they create a culture where everything gets really, really important. It gets really highly worked on. This is what we are looking at. So this is how we will see the transparency and the ethical concept. It's not that. Let's just conclude all of this. Conclusion is a very simple one. Let's just 21st century is becoming it's changing. It's a landscape that is transforming. Technologically, we are talking about consumer expectation, we are talking about sustainability focus. All of these things are changing. And if we are not being part of that change, then we're going to be left behind. So we need to make sure that we adapt to that environment. We know that what is expected of us. We should be aware of what is happening around us. And you know what? Whether COVID has forcefully made us understand is that if you are not aware of what is around us, that is going to create problem for us. So understanding any kind of market shift that is happening, forcefully or not, you need to be part of that. You need to identify that opportunity, anticipate that challenge, and gain competitive advantage. That's why you as a company is going to be a company which is going to be useful for you. So when we're looking at the digital revolution, that digital revolution is happening. And I mean, whether we like it or not. And that digital revolution is basically making us transform more streamlined processes, where we are talking about improving customer experience. We are talking about enhancing efficiency, and we are talking about how to basically give something to what people want, right? And that is business prioritizing environmental and social responsibility to align practices and sustainable development goals. None of these companies are basically going to be standalone and say that, you know what, we do not care about the environment. If you do that, your reputation is going to go down the drain, and us, the consumer, is going to say, bye-bye, we don't want you. Right? And that is going to turn, it's going to make your competitors way ahead of you. And you do not want to risk that. So, staying attuned to changes, all of these changes which is happening, consumer preference. We are talking about foster customer loyalty, engagement through tailored products and services. Whether you are talking about within the concept of environmental issues, within the concept of ethical issues, within the concept of corporate social responsibilities of the company. All of this, that you need to do that, because this is one of the reasons the customer is going to come to you. We in 21st century, us consumer have realized that how important it is for customers, for the companies, how strong we are as consumers. Companies have to realize that they cannot mess with us anymore. They need to give us the product that what we want, sustainable product, environmentally friendly product. Because if this happens, they're going to be losing out big time. So global market trends enable strategic expansion, market access, and revenue diversification. All of these things are happening. I mean, one of the example was like 20th century example would be GE, General Electric. They diversified. When they diversified, they basically actually gave us, quite a lot of things. And then they realized that being in 21st century, you need to be in that you are what you are good at. So they started selling off all of those, the extra thing they went into, whether it was finance, whether it was banking, all of those kind of things, going back to making turbines, which they were very, very good at to start with, and now they have gone back. So they sold off quite a lot of their, diversified areas, and then they kind of like consolidated back to their original form. These kind of things are very important. We are talking about leveraging changes can grant businesses a competitive edge. Why China is very good at a lot of the things? Because they are very good at changes. Any kind of adaptability they are basically put in front, they adapt to it very, very quickly. I mean, I'll give you a very good example of that. If you want, say, a bucket, normally you can get it for like, I don't know, 50 cents. And then you want this like a cylindrical shaped bucket. Then you said, no, our customer want the kind of a rectangular shape. They're not going to say, no, we cannot do this. But a lot of the other companies, European companies, American companies, they're going to say, oh, we need time to change and all of that. They're going to say that, no problem, we can deliver to you tomorrow. And then they will change that. That's why China is so good at it, that we need to have those changes, that those changes are required. It happens very, very quickly. Ethical foster, trust. attract talent, and maintain competitive advantage. As we talked about, that is very, very important. We are not boiled down to working only at smaller places now. We can easily travel. I mean, look at UAE. UAE is like 80% of the population is a transient population. People are coming to work, right? That is one unique country. 20% of the locals are here. 80% of the people who are expat, they're working. So that dynamic is changing as well. Then you need to understand that if I need to find somebody who is in, I don't know, Timbuktu, and that he is a perfect for my job, for my company, I'm going to hire that person, and then they will. So all of these things are changing. Let's just see that, why is it important to be aware of the changes? First one is survival. It's relevance, right? Business that fail to adapt risk becoming obsolete is because of the rapid changes which is happening in the landscape. I mean, we are talking about technological changes. We are talking about consumer wants. All of these things are things which needs to be changed. And if they are not aware of that, you're going to lose out on this. Then we are talking about customer satisfaction. I mean, your business is there because of customers. If the customers are not there to, they are happy with your product or with your reputation, then you're going to be making sure that, the business is gone. What you need to do is that you need to get the customer on your side to get that customer that satisfaction. And that satisfaction is going to bring you the loyalty. Then we are talking about, financial stability. Adapting to emerging trends can lead to revenue growth and financial stability. That is what you need to see, that what is happening ahead of us. And when you kind of like get into that, then you will get a very good response in return. And that response is because of that changes which is happening, and you are adapting to those changes. And that is going to give you the financial stability. We are talking about the sustainable growth as well, that align with the societal values and environmental concern, secure long-term viability. I mean, at the end of the day, what we are seeing with the climate change, and if you're not being part of that, then I'm afraid you are basically, creating a big problem for yourself. We are talking about innovation. Innovation is give you this edge. We are talking about technology. We are talking about innovation allows you to have differentiate themselves against, other things. Look at us now. And that comes from Amazon. Instead of having a huge mass of land where you can have a warehouse, you have got robotics which are basically running that. So if you are needing 200 robots, it can easily run a huge, we are talking about billions of products there, and all done by the robots. And that is embracing the technology, that is embracing the innovation. We are talking about brand loyalty, demonstrate social responsibilities for ethics foster. I mean, this is again things that customer is being loyal to you. Why? Because the customer respect your brand, respect what you're doing, respect your, input in the environmental issues. That means that the customers are happy with you. That's why they are going to be loyal to you, right? Then we are looking at how these changes can actually help businesses gain competitive advantage. We talked about enhanced efficiency. That is one of the key things, that any kind of things are my company can do it in 2 hours, someone else's company can do it in 2 days. I've got a competitive edge. Agility, right? Being adaptable to help business respond swiftly to market shift. Anything which is happening. I gave an example that how China is being so agile on those kind of things, and that's why their growth rate is much, much better. People are learning from them. Market expansion, globalization is happening. Partnership can be opening door for a lot of the things. I can be a partner to a company in Mexico. I could be a partner to a company anywhere else. And that would really help. So when you're looking at the global expansion, you need to look at it in a way that what you need to do to improve things and how it would be sustainable for you to find the right partner elsewhere. Then we are talking about awareness of transformative changes is vital. Companies seeking to thrive in 21st century must know business environment. Now, business environment is a as a holistic approach, that what are the things we are talking about logistically, we are talking about process-wise, we are talking about operations, we are talking about, any kind of technological changes, innovation, all of these things, embracing these changes, business to gain competitive advantage in a very dynamic world. I'm going to come back to, Heraclitus, what he said, that not the only the constant change, only the thing which is constant in our life is change. And this is a dynamic world. It is changing all the time. We need to ensure that these changes are absorbed, adapted, and to work on without any problem. That will give us the growth. That will give us the sustainability. I think I have taken quite a lot of your time, Ruchika. I think you deserve another poll.
Not at all, sir. Not at all. This was quite insightful. Thank you so much. Now, I could see the participants were eagerly waiting for the third
Yes,
poll. So here it is on your screens, the third poll for today. All right. So, what are the main factors responsible for business decision making? The first option is market trends and customer preferences. The second option is employee satisfaction and work-life balance. Third option is the phase of the moon and astrological predictions. And the fourth one is financial data and performance metrics. So which do you all think are the main factors responsible for business decision making?
I think your third option is more to do with getting married rather than, getting into business.
Yes. Crystal ball comes again. We need the crystal ball with us in the webinar.
Yes, we do. We do.
All right, everyone, please vote. The third poll is here before it goes away. So when you got that incorrect, when you got that heel instead of the shoe, was that pre-Amazon era, right?
I'm afraid it was way pre-Amazon era, and I'm so, because they were actually questioning my sexuality every time they would send me the heel 6 inches high as well. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall as it is, plus 6 inches with that. I think I would have looked very good in that.
Yeah. Yes, you should have taken a picture.
Yeah, right, because I wasted a lot of money. I should
For
have.
memory's sake,
Yeah.
Isaac says, brilliant presentation, Professor Khan.
Very kind of you.
All right, okay. I think we can move on to the results now. Let's see what everyone's voted for.
That would be very interesting to see.
Yeah. How many won the crystal ball?
Yeah, exactly.
Only 1%.
Right.
All right.
1% of 1,000 is quite a lot.
Yes. Yes. So 736 people participated. 73% people have voted for market trends and customer preferences, which is the correct answer. 17% people have said financial data and performance metrics, which is also, I guess, the next in line, sir, if I'm not wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
When you are, however, in the business industries, in the business world, everything's customer is the king, as they say.
Oh, absolutely.
Customer preferences is the key.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, before we move on to the question and answer round, sir, would you like to take a short break? Meanwhile, we've got a lot of questions in terms of Uni Athena's courses. So I would like to take everyone through, give them a little bit of overview about what we do. So I would like to present the Uni Athena, the PPT for all the participants who are interested in pursuing the courses with us.
Yeah. Can I just say that move that my This is my email address, and you can join me on my LinkedIn as well. If you can type in my email address, you can get through that. I think other than that, how long are you going to take for the break before we start the question Q&A?
So in about 5-10 minutes, 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes would be perfect.
Yeah.
So,
Sir, if you can stop the screen sharing, please.
yeah.
Then I will share my screen
No problem.
before we move
Okay.
on to the questions.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I'm going to stop sharing it right now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So can you see my screen, sir?
I
Yeah.
can see your screen. Yep. If you can
Okay,
run it, that would be better.
yes. Thank you. All right. So I want to first of all say thank you to everyone for joining, all the lovely participants from across the globe. Thank you for joining this in our webinar today. As some of you must be aware, let me tell you all that Uni Athena is a part of Westford Education Group. We are affordable, flexible, and accessible, which means that we've been established in 2019, and we are an edtech company headquartered in UK. We offer online academic courses and free learning short courses also. So please do visit our website. These are some of the numbers that are in front of on your screen. We offer 400 plus courses. These are some of our partners who we have tie-ups with: GMU, UCAM, SQA, CMI, CIQ, Abertay University. Now, when we say academic programs, we have a host of courses wherein we offer postgraduate master's course, MBA, doctorate courses. And we do have short courses which you can learn for free, which are basics, essentials, mastering. We do offer diploma and MBA essentials. So please do visit our website, www.uniathena.com. You will get the links in the chat box also. Please do visit the website. And why us when, it's a big market? Why us? Because we have flexible payment system, 100% online. So the video tutorials, the reading material, everything's online. It is self-paced. You can pursue a course or get information at your own pace when you're working in the daytime, when you come back home at night. So you can continue your learning at your pace. Okay. We are accredited university partner. Our courses are globally accepted. Modular course delivery. We do offer personal tutor connect, which means we have personal tutors to help you, assist you in your online education journey. I see a lot of people have raised their hands. Please post your questions in the chat box. We will try and answer as many questions as possible. So we are 100% online, completely online, and we believe in bite-sized delivery. This is an example of how the video tutorial goes online. So you watch a video at your own pace, which will help you. Then we have essential reading, which is theory about the topic that you are reading. This is how the screen appears. This is how our website, our learning portal looks like. We do have additional readings, and reference materials to help one. If someone's not from the domain, they can go through it, enlighten themselves. So even if, let's say, I'm from marketing industry, but however, I want to pursue a course in uh, supply chain management and logistics, I can, go through the lecture, essential readings, reference materials, all the help is available for our learners. Please do visit our website, www.uniathena.com. We are located in Middle East, United Kingdom, and India. For all those who are keen on knowing more about the courses, please do email us at admissions@uniathena.com and fatima@uniathena.com. So that's a little bit about our organization. Thank you so much for your patient listening. Now we will move on to the question and answer rounds. So, sir, the first question that Daniel has asked us, how does one start an investment without looking at the risk?
Without looking at the risk, this is the most funny question I've ever asked, because I mean, at the end of the day, when you do not look at the risk, then can I have your money, please? Because this is what you need to do, that you need to look at the risk, because this is built into us. The day we are born till the day we die, we're always taking risks, and we are taking calculative risks. So if you are talking about business, then business needs to be looked at in a way that, you know, what is good for you, what is bad for you, what will give you, you know, good investment, what is going to give you bad. So you need to take a risk. I mean, this is, without risk, you cannot survive. As I said, that if you want to start something without a risk, can I have your money, please? And we can share it. Rishika, you and I will share it. Right, Daniel? Make sure that you take a risk. Please, it's a must.
Yeah. The next question that Mohammed has asked is, what is the key role of society for business sustainability? How do we make more effective business strategy? Very interesting.
Right. This is the question that you are very, especially now. I mean, that every company needs to know that what is the strategies for sustainable business. I mean, we are looking at, when we look at sustainable, it means that you need to cover that how your business is going to be running for the next, you know, hopefully next 200 years. Right. And what kind of business that you have, that means that it needs to be, say, for instance, if you are making some sort of product, that where that product is going to be coming from, what kind of material it is going to be putting it into this. So if you're talking about, say, for instance, you know, something which is coming from Mother Earth, that Mother Earth needs to provide that, because I mean, sooner or later is going to, you know, give it. So you need to find different ways of doing that. And for that, you need to have a strategy to think long-term in advance. Why oil industry is so successful is because whenever they make a strategy, they don't make a strategy for next 10 years. They make a strategy for next 25 years, 50 years, 75 years, 100 years. And that's why they do. So you need to look at into a long-term strategy, and then how you can diversify the processes, how you can diversify the, you know, the material, how you can actually sustain yourself for that long. So you need to kind of accumulate all of those kind of things in a right kind of a strategy when you are making that kind of business. Okay, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. The next question that we have is from Obina. The question is, what are those things that a company should do to ensure they comply to CSR?
Oh, it's imagination. I mean, when you're talking about your corporate social responsibility, tiniest of the smallest of the thing to the most biggest initiative you can think of, that it comes with your imagination. Because at the end of the day, if you are not using that amazing brain that, you know, God has given you, and you're not coming up with like different ideas, different concepts, then you would be, you know, you're not going to use it in a kind of a sustainable way. So you need to think about that, what kind of corporate social responsibility or what kind of initiative you're going to be thinking to basically do better for the society, do better for all of these stakeholders which are part of you. And they're not only the customers, they're people who are living around the company, people who are working in the company, both externally and you know, internally as well. So you need to think that way, and imagination is the best thing that you can have.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Now, the next question that we have is from Adam. The question is, why is data crucial for business to thrive in the data-rich era? Well,
Oh,
I think,
I think, well, I mean, as you said, that it's not the question of data, it's just a question of analyzing that data. I mean, I was sitting here and I was analyzing myself, and I turned out to be 80% Chinese. I'm just thinking that how come I be 80% Chinese? Well, the glasses
never
are there.
imagine.
Exactly. I mean, 80% of the things are on me, from clothing to the shoes to the glasses to the watch, either assembled or manufactured in China. Now, when I'm thinking that way, I'm just basically taking that data, that how tall I am, whether I wear glasses or not, whether I drink tea or not, whether I drink coffee or not, all of this is data. Now, from a consumer point of view, it may not sound much, but from a business point of view, it's a very vital information. And to analyze that vital information, to make something out of it and use it to get more customer, more business, more product, that's what we are looking for. So the question is that how do you analyze data? And this is what we are talking about. Data-rich environment or era is not data-rich. Is that how do you actually analyze that data-rich era? Okay.
Thank you, sir. Now, the next question from Hope Sinkala is, what can you do when you have a plan on the table, but you don't have enough funds to take care of the planned business? Very interesting question.
Very interesting question. And you know what? You're right. You may have a plan on the table, but you may not have the funds to actually carry out that plan. But that does not mean the end of the plan. There are many different ways of finding funds. I mean, you can go to cloud funding, you can go to, unicorn funding, you can go to different people, you can go to your family and you ask me. You need to have that devotion to turn that plan into reality. And this is what we are looking at, that a lot of the time business fail is because we do not have that devotion to get to that business. But if we carry on, there's always a way out. Always, always a way out. I'm pretty sure of it, that if you think that your plan is good enough, then you can promote it. Then there are people who can actually be part of that as well. So be ready to give and take, and make sure that that plan should be your life. Run it as your life. And then I'm pretty sure of it that people will get into it.
Thank you, sir. The next question. Wow. Okay. So Yanjani has asked a lot of questions. What factors may affect a business to adapt to new technology and new business trends?
Right. Okay. Well, this is a very important question, because the thing is, like any business that you have, you need to understand that what you are capable of. You can have technology, you can put in technology, but the thing is that technology is gonna be as good as the people who are operating their technology. So whenever you are looking at, what kind of things is going to be good for business, think that what your people can do. As I said, my dad does not know how to use this still, right? I get complaints that, son, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So my dad cannot be a good operator of this. But my son, who is 10 years old, he could be a perfect operator of that, because he was born into that technology. So make sure that whether it's business, whether it's technology, whether it's adaptation, whatever that is, that your people are, in tune with that. Train your people to work on the business, work on the ethics, work on technology, and then they can thrive. But if you're going to put in technology after technology and people cannot operate it, is as dumb or as intelligent as the operator, which basically are there for that. So make sure that you know that what you are doing, what your business is capable of, and know your weaknesses and the strength of the business, right? That is very important to have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Now the next, we'll take a few more questions.
Sure.
Yeah. So Rene de France, if that's the correct pronunciation. The question is is AI a future of the world? Does every business require the use of AI? Very interesting. Again.
Well, I'm not too sure about the future of the world because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're, we used to say that social media is the future of the world. Now, social media has been left behind by machine learning, data, big data, AI, and so on and so forth. So you don't know what's going to be coming next. But at the end of the day, we should be ready to accept and adapt to the situation which is going to be coming to us. So it's not that technology or it's not the changes which is coming to us, it's just that are we ready to adapt to those changes or not? We are the future of the world. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the technology. Technology, as I said, is as good as the operator. So if you know how to use AI, it's you are the master of AI, you're going to be way ahead of people. But if you don't know how to use it, if you do not know how to operate it properly, then it's not going to be any use to you. So you are the future of the world, and you need to make sure that you are adaptable to the environment which is coming to you. Be agile, be informative, be aware of things. I always give an example that when you look at things like that, you're focusing on one thing only. But when you need is 360 degrees, people, you need another pair of eyes behind you. So you can see in business, this is what you need to see, that 360 degrees, right? If you're going to be focusing only on one thing, you're only going to be looking at one thing. And that is going to be, handsome me and beautiful Richika. That's it. But at the end of the
Thank you
day,
so much.
but if you need to kind of like, you don't need to focus in business, you need to see everything around you. And the future is us, not the things which is going to be coming to us. Yeah.
Rightly said. Yes. The next question that we have is from Jean Mary John. I'm in Africa, Mozambique, but in my country, the technology is not well applied. I would like to know which strategies the country has to implement, or rather, what can a person do if, the technology is not that advanced? So how do you uh, basically coincide business with technology?
Very interesting question. And I'm afraid it's one of those questions that if you have the right answer, you're going to be absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, there are going to be countries, people, businesses, which is going to be lacking this. And it's not because that they don't want to implement it, it's because of whatever reason, whether it's financial, whether it's like, educational or some other reason, they are going to be lacking behind. But that does not mean that that was the end of the world for you. I mean, that you can actually adapt quite a lot of different strategies to see that how you can actually improve things, especially learning from, the beauty of human being is that we are very resourceful, we are very adaptable. And if we cannot function in certain way, we find another way to function in a kind of a, in that market as well. And that's one of the reasons that we survived so well so far. So I know it is difficult, and I know technology is not because of the financial issues, because of the economy, because of the politics, because of whatever leadership you want to call it. But at the end of the day, you as an individual can do quite a lot of things to actually improve that business in your country. So think about it. Think that how you can actually do it within the region. I would start from, the street, the area you are living in, the city you are living in, the region that you are living in, the continent that you are living in, and then go forth. And I'm pretty sure of it that, Mozambique is a thriving country, and hopefully they will get to that point no matter what. I mean, the whole of Africa will get to that point where they can actually get quite a lot of technology and people who are willing to do this. As I said, technology is not an issue. People in the mindset is.
Thank you so much for answering that one, sir.
Yeah.
Another interesting question. How do I make a business I guess Adatino wants to say that isn't well-known trending without the use of advertisement.
Without the use of advertisement, word of mouth, depending on what your business is. At one point, I used to have a restaurant, and then if I serve very nicely to my customer, what will happen is that they were going to come out and they're going to tell 10 of their friends that go to that restaurant because the service is really, really good. And the word of mouth is the best way to advertise without spending any money. So I can have a very big billboard. I can have banners coming out onto a website. I can have, like, buy TV prime space. But at the end of the day, if I find people who are liking my product, who are respecting my company, that is the best form of advertisement you can do. It will attract, it will magnetize more customer, and then you will see, wow, that would be amazing.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, the last question for the day, we have Golden. That's a very interesting name. So Golden's asking, is there anything being done to resolve the global challenge of regulatory complexities on the internal level to enable smooth global business transactions?
Yes, and a very important question that you asked, because I run corporate trainings on AML, anti-money laundering, and there are many different compliances which we have to follow. And because, as I said, that globalization present one of the biggest problem, and that is, like, turning black money into white money, or money laundering, and all of those kind of things. So countries, they come together and they follow a kind of a system where we can actually control these kind of, like, criminal activities. And this is one of the reasons that we can bring people together, we can bring businesses together, we can bring countries together to follow the same kind of routine. I must say that it's not an issue only in third world countries, it's in developing countries, and it's in developed countries as well. Because of these issues, you need to have working together as one unit to basically come to the same understanding, whichever country you are, whichever language you speak, whichever process you use, so you can all follow the same concept. And as I said, money laundering is one of the key things that people are working together as one to get rid of all of this. It's not an easy task, because criminals are always one step ahead of us. But that does not mean that we should stop doing things. What we should do is that bring the compliances together, form a uniformity, and then see that how we can actually do to improve things.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for answering the last question. And with that, we bring this exciting webinar, unfortunately, to an end. Like all good things come to an end. Thank you so much, sir. It was great having you here at
It was a
Uni Athena.
pleasure. It was a pleasure. And very kind of you, Ruchika, for assisting me. Without you, I would not have done this, especially with those polls. You were amazing.
Thank you. And thank you, all our lovely participants from everywhere, all across the globe. Thank you so much for your time. Please do visit our website, uniathena.com, for more information on the courses, and to visit the recording of this webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.